Hi loves, welcome back to my channel. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. I took an unexpected break, wasn't really planning on it, but it happened and I'm really glad that I did. Quarantine has been quite the journey, my guy, and I feel like I've learned a lot in the past 2 weeks. And I'm really proud of where I'm getting, and I'm really proud of myself for many reasons. With the inner work that I've been doing, and I know that there's still a lot to be done, but I'm really glad that I took that break, because I feel like I got like my priorities in check, and I was reminded like why I do what I do and why I want to continue doing what I do. So yeah, anyways, hi. My name is Nina. How are you? And today we are doing messages, like short little messages for the signs. Today we're doing earth signs, and I wanted to do like short little messages for Taurus season. Today's the starting day of Taurus season. Fucking sun's in my first house, bitch. Okay, anyways, let me stop. I'm a Taurus rising, for anyone who doesn't know, so I'm excited. And yeah, so we're gonna do just like quick messages for earth signs today regarding Taurus season, any sort of like advice that you need to know. So with that being said, sit back, relax, have a good time, like the video if you want to, comment, share, subscribe, whatever, and let's get into it. So let's see, I'm first gonna start with Taurus because it's our season. So let's see what's going on for Taurus. Taurus sun, moon, rising, and Venus. All right, what does Taurus need to know for their season? What do they need to know for Taurus season? Taurus sun, moon, rising, and Venus. So we have two cards that fell out. We have the Two of Pentacles and the Four of Wands reversed. Okay. Let me just, all right, let me pull out the other cards. We have the Seven of Wands reversed, Five of Swords reversed, Eight of Pentacles reversed, and then Six of Cups reversed is at the bottom of the deck. Or not bottom of the deck. Six of Cups reversed, and then the Queen of Pentacles reversed at the bottom of the deck. So overall energy here for you, Taurus, it seems as though there might be some sort of issues with codependency and relying too much on other people to get your shit done. Like, it's your work, but you might be finding yourselves placing that heavy load on other people and kind of expecting them to kind of like fix your problems and and kind of just like wanting to dump your shit onto them because it's easier for them to do it, to watch them do it rather than you kind of doing your own inner work. Is kind of what that it's kind of what that feels like here. So if that's the case, Taurus, be mindful of that, and you know, like, your shit is your shit either way. It's gonna be your shit regardless. So having someone else try to fix you or fix your issues or whatever the case is, it takes the whole point. It takes out the whole entire purpose of learning and healing, or whatever it is that you're experiencing. Like, it can only be done with yourself. Yes, someone can provide you with guidance. Yes, someone can provide you with advice, but at the end of the day, it's up to you to put in the work. It's up to you to commit to your healing journey. No one else can do that but you. So Queen of Pentacles reverse is kind of showing, like, kind of basically demonstrating this back and forth of like knowing that you have to do the healing on your own, but also being like, well, I don't know what to do, I don't know where to start, so I'm just gonna give it to someone else. That doesn't work like that. So anyways, Two of Pentacles and the Four of Wands reversed. Some of you might be feeling overwhelmed with the instability with some sort of instability in your life, especially with everything going on right now. Like your routine has been broken, I'm pretty sure, because of quarantine. So trying to find a new routine might feel a little bit overwhelming, because you have to get used to the new swing of things, I guess you could say. Four of Wands reverse would be the instability, feeling unstable in some way, feeling somehow disharmonious. It also kind of feels like some of you might be trying to juggle between work and home, or like work life and personal life in some way. Maybe you're working from home, and it seems that with the Two of Pentacles reverse, you might be trying to find the balance between working from home and also personal time. Some of you might be having a hard time balancing between the two. Maybe you're overindulging in one or the other. Maybe some of you are overworking yourselves, and maybe some of you are being a little bit too lazy and having a really hard time getting out of bed, which, you know, understandable, I get it. So it seems as though there's kind of this issue with like almost like self-discipline for some of you, especially with the Seven of Wands reverse, which is like giving up way too easily on yourself, kind of just like putting in the bare minimum and being like, okay, well, I tried, you know, like there's something else that I can do. I am the way that I am, but there's nothing that I can do to change that. Like my past created me, and that's just that. Like there's nothing that I can do to change that. And it's like, no, you can. You definitely can. You just have to make the choice to do so. You have to commit to disciplining yourself. You have to commit to a higher standard if there is a certain reality that you desire to live. Does that kind of make sense? So it seems that there might be some sort of issues in terms of like overindulging in extremes. Again, whether it's with work, whether it's finding the balance between work and like lazy time. And it seems that, for example, if some of you are kind of more so on the end of like overindulging in terms of lazing around, not really doing much work, kind of just like being in bed all day, not really doing much, not even like taking care of yourself very well in terms of like drinking water and like eating nutrients and shit like that, you require to commit to yourself, I guess you could say, if you want to make a difference. Like if there's something that you want to change, or like it's not just one of those things where it's like, oh well, I'm just gonna accept the way that I am, I'm just gonna be lazy this entire time. Like no, like you don't have to remain complacent. And also doing the bare minimum is going to give you bare minimum results, especially if you are wanting, if there's a goal that you're trying to reach either during quarantine or in general, like if there's a goal that you want to reach, if you put in the bare minimum, be like, oh well, I tried, like it's just not meant to be. Like no, like you're obviously not going to get the results if you're putting in the bare minimum. That's, you know, like, so it seems as though you have to commit a little bit more, rather than kind of just being like, oh no, I give up because it didn't work out the first time. Well, that's fine. You can try the second time. Maybe it works out the second time. And if it doesn't work the second time, then it'll work the third. Like you just have to keep on trying and take on different approaches to find something that works for you. Make sense? So don't be so like, don't underestimate yourself. I feel like that's kind of the message here. Don't underestimate yourself. I feel like you have a lot of potential, but some of you might just find it easier to sit back in that which is familiar, which for some of you, that which is familiar could be, you know, being a little bit of a couch potato, which there's nothing wrong with that. But if it's taken to the extreme where every single day it's couch potato vibes and nothing else is done and you're not taking care of yourself, then there's an issue. That's where things get tricky. So anyways, that's what that's saying. And then we have the Five of Swords reverse, which can signify mental exhaustion, but also a lose-lose situation. So again, with this Two of Pentacles, it's a lose-lose situation whether you go on one extreme or the other, Taurus. Whether it's overworking yourself so much at home, trying to stay busy in order to feel productive, versus laying in bed all day, not doing anything, scrolling endlessly on social media, repeating the same patterns. Like, if you're repeating the same shit on either end of the spectrum, it's a lose-lose situation. Like, there has to be a different approach taken in order to gain different results. There has to be a middle ground. There's always a middle ground. There's always a gray area. Things aren't one or the other. And so finding that middle ground, it seems that is what Taurus season is kind of calling you to do, is to find the balance between like the material and like the emotional, or work and play, work and personal life, whatever the case might be. Because we have the Eight of Pentacles reversed. So this, for some of you, reads as literally overworking yourself, literally like working yourself to death, working yourself to exhaustion. And we can see the mental exhaustion that comes with overworking yourself. And so you have to ask yourself, am I taking care of myself? Am I doing the best that I can for myself? Am I taking things to extremes? And if so, what can I do to find moderation? That's kind of what it seems like. And we have the Eight of Pentacles reversed, work, and Four of Wands reversed, home. Like, literally imbalance within the home and work. And like, I understand, especially now that things are kind of tricky to navigate in terms of like, it's just like a new environment that we're in, but we have to find a way to find the balance in it all. Whether it's one extreme or the other, we have to find that gray area. Six of Cups reversed talks about past patterns. This to me reads as like old patterns. This to me reads as like old habits, things that have been kind of wired into your brain at a young age. And right above that is the Seven of Wands reversed. So this talks about giving up on yourself really easily, or being complacent, or putting in the bare minimum and expecting results, like expecting above average results. And so whatever this is, like the Seven of Wands reverse is like putting in bare minimum and then not getting the results that you want and then giving up. If that's a pattern that you have been repeating all your life, find the tools to basically decondition that, to recondition your mind to do differently. Okay, create new patterns in your mind, create new patterns in your work life, in your personal life, that help you find balance and that create a stronger sense of discipline. Okay, so for some of you, maybe this is like creating a set routine that you follow no matter how lazy you might feel, no matter how easy it might feel to just stay in bed, or how easy it might be to overwork yourself, or whatever the case is. Create a set routine for yourself and commit to that every single day, no matter what, without excuses, and you do it and you work through it, no matter how uncomfortable it might feel or how easy it might feel to just like not do it. If there's change that you want to experience, if there's some sort of change that you want to experience in your life, if there's a different reality that you want to perceive, you have to commit to that reality. It's not something that where like you meditate once or you do yoga once and like, oh my, all my problems are solved. No, it takes commitment. It takes effort and it takes determination. And no, it's not like, it's so much, yeah, sure, it's easier said than done, but just because it's easier said than done shouldn't be an excuse to not do it. So it seems as though you're being called to put in the work and break any sort of patterns regarding work and like social, or not social life, work and personal life, or work versus like personal lazy time sort of thing. Is that gonna make sense? So yes, my guy, that's kind of what it seems like here, Taurus. Working to find the balance between work and home, especially now. Being careful of not exhausting yourself and being careful of dragging things out longer than needed. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. Anyways, that's it, Taurus. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it resonates. Let me know in the comments down below if it did. And with that being said, I'll talk to you later. Bye. Hi Virgo, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Nina and today we are doing some quick messages for you for Taurus season. So let's go ahead and get started. This is going to apply to Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest that doesn't. It's a general reading, so keep that in mind. Use your discernment. All right. What's going on with Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus during Taurus season? What does Virgo need to hear for Taurus season? All right. Three of Wands. Okay, expansion, exploration, thinking about the long term, whether it's like long-term future, like long-term plans, something along those lines. We have the Sun, you could be dealing with a Leo. We have the Empress. Oh my God, I love this shit. Oh my God. This is good energy. I love this. I'm so happy to see this. We have the Nine of Pentacles. We have the Emperor reversed. Could be dealing with an Aries, although you don't have to be. And then we have the Eight of Swords reversed. Bottom of the deck is the Ten of Swords. Interesting. So Ten of Swords talks about letting things go. And then under the Ten of Swords is the Six of Swords reversed. So some of you need to let something go. Whether it's a person, a situation, a job, a living space, I don't know. There's something that needs to be released. And it seems that once you let go of this thing and kind of just let things die off, whatever this thing is, you will be blessed with like hella abundance, which is fucking amazing. So Ten of Swords, this talks about like inevitable endings. This talks about like just needing to put something to rest, okay? Needing to put something to rest, needing to let something go, so that something new can begin, essentially. That's kind of what that talks about. Just like letting something go, releasing something, whether it's even like a mindset too, or a habit, whatever the case is, right? And it seems that by letting things go, by experiencing kind of this almost like death rebirth sort of moment, or just like this ending in general, it seems that you are able to expand your mind or open your mind to different possibilities. Three of Wands is all about exploration. It can sometimes refer to travel, but this to me reads as like broadening your horizons and seeing how much there is out there for you. Like there's so many opportunities out here for you, Virgo. Like it's fucking crazy actually. And I love that. And it feels like during this Taurus season, I feel like some of you really need to step out of any sort of like victim mindset that you have, or like any sort of mindset of feeling like you're helpless, or feeling like you're a martyr, or feeling like you are powerless, or like you don't have a choice, because the Eight of Swords reverse is talking about the liberation of that. Also with the Emperor reverse, this talks about feeling out of control. Emperor reverse can sometimes refer to either being out of control, or the Emperor reverse can also signify someone who is too much like a dictator. Like they try to be too controlling. So it's two different spectrums here, or two ends of a spectrum. Whichever end you fall in, you have to let it go. So for some of you, this talks about needing to let go of incredibly controlling tendencies and trying to dictate what others do, say, feel, and so on and so forth. For others of you, you need to step out of this mindset that you can't help yourself, or that you know, you just have to accept whatever fate just throws at you, and there's nothing that you can do about it, that everything is set in stone. Nothing is set in stone. Absolutely not. That's a ridiculous mindset to have. And so that seems like that is something that you are really like being pushed to step out of during this Taurus season. And it seems that once you step out of that mindset, you'll see how abundant you are. Empress card, abundant. Like you have everything that you need. You have all the creativity, you have all the beauty, the excitement, I guess you could say. The Empress is just someone beautiful, like very beautiful, very wholesome, very great. She can create anything, and everything that she like wants to create like comes into fruition in a very beautiful, like meant to be sort of way, I guess you could say. So it seems that by kind of letting go of that mindset, you step into your power, and you realize how much or how abundant you actually are, and that everything that you want is within you, and that everything you desire can be found within yourself, and you can bring out that possibility into your outer world. Does that make sense? It also feels that you are being called to let go of like this manager, CEO, controlling boss sort of archetype. I feel like some of you are kind of being pushed away from that, and I feel like you're being called to just allow yourself to be playful, allow yourself to have fun. Like, not everything has to be super structured, not everything has to be super rigid. Like, let yourself have some fucking fun. All right, the sun kind of is asking you to have a good time. Play in the sand, play in the sandbox, go to the park, whatever. Obviously with everything going on, do that like within the means of like whatever's happening now. Maybe you can like go to the, like if you have a pool in your backyard, go to the pool, swim in the pool, have a good time, have fun, and don't worry about structure. Don't worry so much about plans. Expand your mindset, expand your worldview, or like your perspective on life, and realize that there isn't just one way of doing things. Realize that there isn't just one way of approaching something. There are so many different possibilities that you can approach, and you can take a little bit of everything and build it all together into something unique to you. You know what I'm saying? So that's I like this. I enjoy this energy. Also with the Three of Wands, for some of you, this talks about like planning ahead. Maybe for some of you, this would be a really good time. Maybe Taurus season might be a really good time for you to like plan some long-term goals that you have. Again, not having a super like rigid structure to it, but just kind of like having a very open plan as to what your goals are and how to like go about them. And it seems that with this Nine of Pentacles, you might be really close to already be close to achieving certain goals or aspirations or whatever the case may be, which is really exciting. Also, it seems as though some of you are kind of stepping into a stronger sense of independence. The Knight of Pentacles is someone who has built something from the ground up on their own. With that being said though, be careful of isolating yourself once you have reached a certain point of like success or whatever the case may be. Share your success with others, share your happiness with others, share your good fortune with others. Don't just keep it to yourself, because when you do that, you attract more to yourself. Okay, by hoarding things, you just restrict energy, and that's just not a good time. So that's kind of what it seems like. There's a lot of really good energy. There's a lot of creativity. It seems as though financial stability looks really good, and it's really I fucking love this bitch. I love this stuff. And it seems that for some of you, maybe Taurus season is kind of a time for you to plan on like some sort of business endeavor. And some of you might actually end up planning on some sort of endeavor or project that might be really successful or like really popular in some way. With that being said though, have fun with it. And once you kind of start seeing the success, I guess you could say, don't focus so much on that. Focus on having fun with it. Focus on being creative with this endeavor. Don't place so much emphasis on like, okay, we have to have these numbers, we have to have this status, we have to be trending on here, or whatever the case might be, because then it takes the fun out of it and it makes it more like a work. It makes it feel more like an obligation. You suck the fun out of it, and I don't want you to be a fun sucker. So that's kind of what that is saying, especially with this Emperor reverse. Be careful of being like that super controlling dictator, boss, CEO sort of thing, because it just doesn't really get you anywhere, honestly. Like it just restricts you. And when there is more of that free-flowing energy, you get that in return. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what I have for you, Virgo. Also, I feel like some of you might be planning some sort of pregnancy, or like thinking about like your future in terms of like building a family. Because the Three of Wands would be like the planning, right? And then Sun is the kid, and then the Empress is like mom, so mom and kid. So some of you might be planning like long-term futures regarding your kid if you already have one, or long-term future regarding like building a family. And maybe finances is something that you are focused on regarding building a family and whatnot. In which case, Emperor reverse is kind of saying, don't get super strict on it, okay? It's okay if there's a little bit of flux, like flux and flow. So, yeah. Also, if you're worried about like being a good mom or just being a good parent in general, if like that's something that's been on your mind and you feel like if you're overthinking it a lot, first of all, that's normal. It's okay to feel that way. It's definitely like, I get it. But don't be so hard on yourself, okay? Especially if like you're a first-time parent, it can definitely be overwhelming, and no matter how much you plan and no matter how much you prepare, like there are just certain things that you can't prepare for. And so try to ease into it, I guess you could say, or give yourself a break and don't be so hard on yourself if you don't know all the answers immediately in terms of parenthood, because it's a lot. And you'll learn through experience, and if you make a few mistakes, that's fine. You're still learning and you're still human. So yeah. All right, that's what I have for you, Virgo. I hope that resonates, hope it helps. And with that being said, I'll talk to you later. Bye. Hi Capricorn, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nina, and today we are doing some quick messages for you for this Taurus season. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, what's going on for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus this Taurus season? What do they need to know for Taurus season? All right, we got 3 cards. 7 of Wands, bitch. Oh God. All right, let's see. All right, we have the 7 of Pentacles that fell out. We have the 7 of Wands reversed. Who got this? Taurus also got this. We have the 10 of Cups. 5 of Swords reversed. King of Cups. 5 of Wands. Bottom of the deck is the 8 of Pentacles reversed. So some of you, the 8 of Pentacles reversed for some of you can signify perfectionism. 8 of Pentacles reversed can signify overworking yourself or doing something to impress someone else. Doing something to impress someone else. Some of you might be trying to keep up a certain image of yourself. Some of you might be trying to keep up a certain image of yourself to impress someone else, or to make them perceive you a certain way when that perception might not be all that realistic. I also feel like some of you might be, it's like you're doing something to impress this person, but they're not really paying you that much mind. That's kind of what it feels like. Like they don't really, they're like not really giving you the attention that you're looking for is what it feels like. But you still find yourself like putting in all of this work, all of this commitment towards this person who isn't likely to be giving you the same energy. Because I see here, there's this commitment. It could be this commitment could be on your end, or it could be from the other person. Reverse the roles however way you need to. But 7 of Pentacles is the commitment. That is the consistency. This is building something long term. This is seeing a long term future for something. But then we have the 7 of Wands reversed, which is putting in bare minimum effort. So for some of you, there could be some sort of issue in terms of reciprocation and balance between you and another person, whether this is like a romantic relationship or something different. There seems to be an issue or like not seeing eye to eye with one another in terms of goals regarding a relationship. Again, whether it's like a friendship thing or a romantic relationship or whatever the case might be. It seems that someone might be putting in a lot more work than the other person, and whoever this person is kind of putting in the bare minimum bum and be like, oh, well, I tried. You know, like, it doesn't really seem as though they're wanting to fix whatever conflict might be going on between you, because we have the Five of Swords reversed, which is mental exhaustion in a lose-lose situation. And then the Five of Wands, again, conflict, egos clashing, getting really, like, getting really riled up over something. And the Ten of Cups, right above the Five of Wands, this conflict could be regarding family. Like, this could be like arguments with family members, or arguments regarding like family topics, or whatever the case may be. For some of you, maybe you're trying to build a family, and you and your partner are not seeing eye to eye for whatever reason it might be. Some person might be really committed and be like, yes, like, I want to do this. Like, I see something long term, and someone might be just putting in the bare minimum, not really putting in their end of the bargain, and kind of just like putting all of the work on you is kind of what it seems like, which is really fucking annoying. It seems that someone might not be all that emotionally invested in the situation as the other person, which could be creating this tension or this rift between you and this other person. And we have the Eight of Pentacles reversed, right? And under that is the Four of Wands reversed. So this is disharmony and instability. Four of Wands reversed also reads as not having a strong foundation. Either this relationship was really rushed into, or there's just something that there is not a strong foundation in this relationship, for whatever reason it might be. Whether you don't know this person enough, or it was just rushed, or whatever the case is, it doesn't seem as though there's a solid foundation, and that could be part of why it feels really unstable, and why it feels like things aren't working out very well. And under that is the Queen of Pentacles reversed. So this can talk about codependency issues. Someone might feel like they need this other person, right? Maybe this person who is committed is the person who feels like dependent on the other person, right? So someone feels as though they are really dependent, or they rely a lot on the other person. Maybe they feel like they need this other person. Maybe you feel like you need this other person. Maybe you feel like you can't live without this person, or again, reverse the roles however way you need to. But that's kind of what it seems like. And then there's this other person who just like doesn't really give a fuck. Doesn't really seem to care. Doesn't really seem to be all that invested. If I'm going to be completely honest with you, it doesn't seem as though they're invested. And yet there is still that pushing of like trying to drag things out, trying to somehow make things work out, somehow trying to make things stable in some way, trying to live out this ideal of having a perfect life, a perfect family, a perfect home life, or whatever the case may be with this person. But it doesn't seem as though the effort is equal. And it seems that the longer this is dragged out, the more pain is caused, probably you causing yourself more pain. And it seems that, because I know with Capricorns, what I've observed with Capricorns, specifically like Capricorn Venus, or people who have like Saturn in their 7th house, like they will ride out a relationship until it is just beat to death. Like, they'll know that a relationship is just not working out and that they're not happy, but they just won't do anything about it. They won't leave because they think that if they leave, then they just gave up. And like, they don't want to be like, well, I just gave up on the relationship, I didn't put in any effort. And then they kind of just like end up overworking themselves trying to make things work, when the other person isn't doing the same thing. Like, they end up carrying the relationship on their back when they don't even want to do it. And then it inevitably ends and they're like what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what this seems like for some of you. That's kind of what it seems like. Capricorn, some of you might be staying in a relationship just trying so hard to please this other person, and this other person just doesn't give a fuck. Like, this person doesn't care at all. It doesn't seem like that. And it seems as though you're just like, you're continuing with this persistence. And with the Five of Swords reverse, it seems like a lose-lose situation. Like, it seems as though it's kind of a waste of time. And it seems that you might already know this. You might know that this person just isn't emotionally invested, that this person just they're just not with the vibes like you are. And you know what? That's fine. You can find someone else. There's someone else out there who can give you the same energy back. You do not need to be staying in a dead relationship just because you feel like if you left, you would be giving up. Yo, if the other person is doing the bare minimum and if they're not putting in their effort, they already gave up. So why are you not doing the same? Why are you not matching their energy? If they're not interested, why should you? If they don't want to fix it, why should you? Why should the responsibility be on your shoulders? Why? That's not a burden that you should carry. Like, it's one thing to work together to make a relationship work. Absolutely. I'm not saying to just give up on a relationship whenever things are not working out. No, I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that if this has been an ongoing issue for months on end, and if no progress has been made, and if this person has consistently shown that they are not interested in making things better, if they have consistently showed you that they are going to have this energy of putting in the bare minimum, something's got to give. That's all I'm saying. So it's up to you, Capricorn. So that's kind of what it seems like for you. That's what it seems like for you this season, is kind of facing the potential reality that, you know, you might be putting in more energy than is required of you, and trying to keep something alive when it might very well just need to be released. Does that make sense? And it doesn't even have to be like a romantic relationship. It can literally be anything. It can be a friendship. It can be a job. It can be like a familial relationship, whatever the case may be, right? It has to be 50-50. It has to be. Yeah. That's it. Because Five of Swords reversed, like, it shows, like, if you continue dragging things out, you just dig the dagger deeper and deeper and deeper and make it a lot more painful. And it's like, why? Why are we gonna make it more painful? Listen, I know Capricorns can be, like, kind of masochistic, but, like, you don't have to be like that. It doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't have to be this hard. Trust me, it doesn't have to be like this. Obviously, there's nuance to everything, and, like, everyone's situation is a lot more complex than this, but this is kind of what it seems like. This is just the overall energy that I'm sharing with you. So with that being said, Capricorn, get it together and reflect on this, perhaps, especially if it resonates with you. Maybe journal a little bit about this and just evaluate whether this is something worth holding on to or if this is something worth releasing. So yeah, that's what I have for you. Talk to you later.